What is up, homies? Welcome back to another trailer reaction from Heroes Reforged. We are checking out the very first trailer for Miss Marvel. This is a show that was announced for June 8th. I imagine we'll probably be doing a reaction to this series as well. And it's going to overlap with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think can we afford not to, Adam? I think that's really
probably
the
not.
question.
No, I've been looking forward to this for, like even before Disney Plus was happening, I always felt like character of Kamala Khan would have made a great movie, a great addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And what's really cool is that even before we're seeing episode 1 of this, they've already announced she's going to be in the Marvels. She's going to be in Captain Marvel 2. And it's like, yes, that's that potentiality that we're talking about. That's that faith in the character, you know, to know that she has a future and how important she is to the next generation of these characters, and to not let go by the wayside any of her important connections and relationships. I'm not trying to throw shade at other superhero franchises, but it is really cool to know that because this is such a big machine, the MCU, the wheels keep turning, that like once you throw a character in there, like she's going to be a part of the big whole thing and she's not going to get left by the wayside.
I'm really curious to see what's happening, so let's get into it, boys. Let's watch this, and I really need to know because I'm not very versed on Miss Marvel, so let's do this.
All right, here we go.
Interesting.
Okay, so first off, I just want to say, I get it.
You get what?
High school.
Kamala. Another Avenger shirt. Cute. She
Mephisto
thinks I'm some
confirmed.
kind of weirdo.
You are weird.
Boys. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're kind of on my shirt.
Sorry.
Cute.
You're staring out the window in your little fantasy land. Kamala, hey, already? Really? Come on, like.
Do I have to figure out my whole future before lunch, or maybe they're right? I spend too much time
Oh wow, okay.
in fantasy
Great.
land.
Yeah,
That is not
this is great.
It's not really the brown girls from Jersey City who save the world. That's a fantasy too.
Ooh, this music is fantastic.
Did something happen to you?
No, why? Did you hear something?
Kamala?
Oh.
What does it feel like?
Cosmic.
Yo, the weekend's having a good
I
year.
always thought I wanted this
Yeah.
kind of life.
This weekend
But
is
I
lasting
never
all
imagined
year
any of this.
long.
Do you even know what
There you go. Okay.
I'm a superhero.
Ooh.
Oh, it's so joyful. Oh my god, dude. That's right out of the comic. That
That's
shot
so
of her
cool.
on the light
Nice.
post.
Light post.
Let's get this out of the way. The powers seem different, and that's what people
Yes.
have been
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a bunch of stuff happening, and I'm sure we're going to learn more about the reasons why. I think there's even already one blurb from maybe the showrunners or the writers or the producers or something about like why that decision was made. In the comic, she can, what she calls, embiggen herself,
Yeah.
where she almost has like Mr. Fantastic style stretchy powers and shape-shifting powers. She can make her hands big. She can grow to giant sizes. And I think the first thing that's happening is they wanted to differentiate between her and Reed Richards. It could be considered as maybe being taken away from Kamala Khan to be saved for a more well-known or more up-and-coming male character. Reed Richards he's one of the first Marvel characters since 1961. Like he's a very important pivotal character, but also so is Kamala in different ways. And I think that in the comics, it wasn't a big deal because Reed had already been around for like 50 years. And, you know, but to introduce them in a different order, I think that's the first thing that's happening. I think the second thing that's happening, which I saw a little bit of in this trailer, is they might actually be trying to tie it closer to Captain Marvel and her mythology. And even her mythology in the movies is different than the comic book mythology, but it has to do with the Kree. It has to do with outer space, cosmic energies, alien technology. I saw a moment that I was like, I think they might be doing an old school Captain Marvel thing where when she clipped on like a wrist band, I think that might be a Kree nega band, which like lets her like swap places with a superhero person in another reality or another dimension, or get extra dimensional cosmic powers from an extra dimensional source. And then she has powers and then she like clangs them together. This is who this is what happened to Rick Jones, who was like a sidekick teenager of the Hulk. He was the kid who was out on the desert testing field, and then Bruce Banner saved him, and eventually he became his own superhero, Captain Marvel, where he would clang his wrists together and then like Shazam, swap places with a superhero who would come in, Marvel. And so the Kree Negabands have been a part of Marvel Comics lore for all those many years. I think they might be trying to reshape her to get it to fit more to, because in the comics she's just an inhuman.
Right.
It's kind of a different version of a mutant where you just get
right.
powers. So like in that regard, I see it and it makes sense. And I'm sure that this show is actually going to like explain it better. And you go, oh, okay, that makes more like thematic sense than just having like background be that you're Inhuman, which I don't think that actually, let me correct myself. Inhumans also have some connection to the Kree. So there was some connection to Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers in that way, but it's like different because the Kree came to Earth and experimented on people, then created the Inhumans. There's a bunch of stuff happening there, but I think they might be trying to maybe cut out the middleman a little bit. Or I've already seen people on the internet say maybe they just want to distance themselves from the Inhumans ABC television series. Adam and I had the pleasure of watching the first episode of.
There's really a lot going on, and I honestly don't feel like this power set that she has here is necessarily the power set she's going to stay with. If she's being given a power by, say, that Class B thingy, do these cosmic powers affect you in some way or another that genetically change you or activate some kind of immune gene or something, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that she is going to stay with this kind of power. I think it's a really cool way to not have a mutant or an Inhuman with having a mutant or an Inhuman potentially. But yeah, I mean, overall the vibes, this kind of gives me what's it called? Homecoming vibes. You remember the first trailer we saw for Homecoming?
Yeah.
Was very like etchy, very Scott Pilgrim.
I'm actually very curious to see how much of that is actually going to be in the real show.
I know, me too. I hope a lot of it is in the show because she has these fantasy sequences. That's from the comics. She goes into her daydreams, so I think it fits. I think the
vibe fits overall. Marshall. It also reminds me of Marshalls versus Robots or whatever it's called.
Mitchells versus the
Machines.
Mitchells versus the Machines.
Marshalls versus TJ Maxx. Is that where you're going?
Marshalls versus Ross.
Yeah.
I really like the vibe overall. And I feel like, so everything that you mentioned, Hector, it's starting to feel kind of overwhelming because there's just so much stuff happening. And then thinking about how Marvel has to balance all of this with like and introducing a new character and also kind of like reshaping the future of what the MCU is going to be. Like, it looks like they're forming the Young Avengers or some brand new team. Also think about the age of these kids. Like, it's a lot of pressure to put on just the actors by themselves. It's a lot of pressure to put on the franchise by itself. It's a lot of pressure to put on like so many things. So I feel like what we're seeing is just like the tip of the iceberg of what's to come for the future because we don't have all the pieces yet. Don't forget the TVA is fucked. And don't forget that Kang is out there somewhere. Don't forget that,
the Pacific Ocean, like shit's crazy.
Like, there's so much in the world that like this is just a tiny piece of it, and we haven't touched any of that stuff since it happened. So there's just so many things that are kind of stacking up, and we are slowly but surely getting little pieces of the puzzles that don't make sense yet. I think drawing conclusions and people getting upset is kind of unjustified at this point. Like, watch the show, homie. Let's see if stuff happens and then draw your conclusions. So I don't know.
For sure.
See. Adam, what do you think?
I'm actually really interested in the photography on this show because some of it looks very MCU-ish. It has like a little kind of touches a little bit, I feel like the John Hughes stuff from the 80s. But I am really interested to see how much of the animated overlays get translated into it. And it seems like from what we've heard from things like Miss Marvel and particularly She-Hulk with potentially breaking the fourth wall, is this going to be kind of a new direction for some of these Marvel projects where they're going to be way more creatively open to do things that we've never seen before, which I think is kind of exciting. Part of me also wonders how much it's going to feel like it's breaking kind of like what we're used to, just the feeling of everything, and if it's gonna feel a little too disjointed. But I feel like you can't really know that until you actually watch the show.
Right, exactly.
I want to say two things. Number one, I also think that those concerns are valid, Adam, and we'll see how it turns out. But I think that to always go back to the Marvel comics as the blueprint, as to see like, does this work here?
Yeah.
Every manner of genre has been tested and tried and true in Marvel comics, including She-Hulk breaking the fourth wall. She was doing it before Deadpool, and now look at what Deadpool has become. So I think that hopefully people embrace the different styles of stuff. Because, I mean, for the past 10 years, so much criticism towards the MCU has been about how there's a lot of sameness, that there's a lot of similar style and storytelling.
Yeah.
And so
now's the time to start breaking it up.
Yeah, the past couple years from like Thor Ragnarok to Black Panther to Loki and What If and WandaVision, definitely playing with genre and style. Will audiences continue to embrace it, or will they get to a point where they go? But then again, like the comics, it's like, dude, not every Marvel Comics reader was reading Miss Marvel the comic, but Miss Marvel the comic, everybody who was reading that loved it, and they were like eating that up. They're like, give us more of this is the type of style and storytelling I'm looking for. Second thing I want to say is, I'm going to quote my good friend Agustin Rios, man's a genius. Spider-Verse changed the game, y'all. Spider-Verse changed the game.
Yeah.
Augustine, speak on that, because we're seeing the effect everywhere. We're seeing,
we're seeing this effect absolutely everywhere. I feel like Spider-Verse gave people permission to explore, because this whole overlay animated, things happening over the traditional footage is just absolutely 100% Spider-Verse. And I'm not saying they invented it. I'm just saying that they made it popular, that they brought it out to the mainstream universe and really used that tool in such an effective way to create such an effective film. And now we're feeling it. We were also talking about the Puss in Boots trailer that came out earlier. There was also the same style of hand-drawn animation over CG stuff with some characters being animated on 2s rather than 1s. And so it's just like Spider-Verse.
I've not seen that trailer.
Broke the universe. Yeah.
Should we watch it right now? Should we react to it right now? Let's pull it up right now. Let's go. No.
It's a little shorty. So it's a new Puss in Boots film, basically. It's just absolutely crazy how a film like that can, I don't even want to say it walked so that this film could run. Like, Spider-Verse is like the benchmark for most films and animated films. Like, it's such a high quality thing, and I'm glad people are using it and learning from it and being inspired by it. So
Spider-Verse came out of the gate sprinting so that everyone else could watch and try to catch up. Like, that's what Spider-Verse did.
Basically.
I'm all in for Miss Marvel. I can't wait to see it. And the last thing I want to say that I'm super excited about is everything that we're talking about, of all of the story stuff that's going on. I'm kind of so glad that the first time we're meeting her is her own show. We're going to spend time with Kamala Khan. Everybody's going to love this. She's so endearing. She's so great. She's so relatable. She is this generation's Peter Parker in so many ways. So like the fact that we get that, and then we're going to see her in a cool kick-ass action movie afterwards, like in a big epic event. That's going to be great. But we're going to fall in love with Kamala Khan, and I can't wait for everybody to get that opportunity.
Guys, let us know in the comments below what you thought about this first trailer for Miss Marvel. What are you looking forward to seeing? What are your thoughts on some of the abilities and some of the changes? It's comic book shit. It gets changed up all the time.
Yeah,
baby.
absolutely.
Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next reaction.